5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buenos dias, hippies. Paz en el barrio. The cookie we're discussing today is crumbling even as we watch. I refer, of course, to Obama's loosely named jobs bill, which was rejected Tuesday by the GOP in the Senate, where the Democrats could garner barely 50 of the 60 votes needed for cloture on the measure. Of course, it was always a corpse in the GOP House. The only thing you can get 60 votes for in the Senate these days are more intrusive national security measures and bank bailouts. Ben Nelson could be relied upon, and John Tester, for some reason, broke ranks, though it really didn't matter once Reid and Schumer, the whip, realized they weren't going to get 60 votes anyway. It was strictly a pseudo event conducted because basically somebody was watching. To anyone with more cognitive competence than an earthworm, the proposal was never any better than a dead letter, dead on arrival. Whatever pluses there were in it, arguable, there was always a significant negative embedded in there: the tax holidays and the provisions to increase workers' take-home pay by reducing workers' payroll taxes. Well, you know, the tax cut from payroll taxes is an enlargement on the one already passed last year in a previous move to appease the GOP the last time Obama got desperate and caved into him on economic issues. It's what economics writer R.J. Esco called a poison pill. Increasing the damage of previous tax cuts, the new measure would have taken $240 billion out of the Social Security revenues for 2012 and would have done so the same way for subsequent years as well. It's the death of 1,000, or in fact 240 billion cuts. Obama said, or the Obama-Nots at least, say they plan to replenish the FICA lost revenues for with tax money from the overall federal budget, keeping Social Security whole for the time being, but forcing the government to borrow more money and to further swell the federal debt to pay for it, which would have, for the Republicans anyway, the retroactive advantage of validating the lies they've been telling all along about the costs of Social Security to the budget now. This would have the effect ultimately of turning Social Security and the trust into a political football by removing the system from its secure position and predictable funding from the trust and throw it into competition for really scarce, obviously, federal dollars with the rest of the discretionary postulants, of whom there are many and worthy. This is part of the plan to turn Social Security finally from a universal insurance plan into a discretionary welfare program with all the rhetorical baggage that would entail. In other words, a death sentence, which, if I may say so, seemed to me to be the plan all along. The owners and their political lackeys couldn't stand the political gaffe of outright killing Social Security, so they're killing it a little at a time. 240 billion, if that's a little. But it's a brilliant move. In my always humble opinion, this would comport with exactly what St. Barry was told to do by his oligarchic financial boosters at the starting gate when they were putting him out there. He's supposed to finally put paid to the last remaining, though always minimal, inadequate, and still eroding, but now the owners know nevertheless odious and threatening provisions of the New Deal social safety net. And he's going to get away with it, too. It's pathetic to me that folks believe just because Obama's a person of color, he would be different from the other 44 dudes who were white and preceded him in the job. The Obama bill was dead on arrival when it was first proposed, but I was sure hoping it would pass, because that's when I could have released the pressure that's been building up in my innards from housing that host of pastel-colored, paisley-printed, panpipe-playing piglets that are just waiting for the legislative excuse to fly out of my flapping butt cheeks and circle the globe playing Bach cantatas in three-part harmonies. See what you're missing in politics, hippies? Hey, swing on by the store and get a handful of bumper stickers. I got one around here someplace. Well, can't lay my hands on it. Here, bumper sticker. And those dichoric ampules would make nifty stocking stuffers. That time of year is approaching, especially if you don't have any legs to put in stockings. or worldwide hippies, you know, one of them wife beater tank tops to wear. So I'll recognize you when I see you at the beach.